Hey guys, it's me Tilly, and today we will start a new series in which we take a closer look at all of the different Guardian raids. Much like during my Abyss Dungeon series, I will only cover the important mechanics you have to know and not every single move the bosses do, in order to prevent overly long videos. I want to use this first video to explain some of the basics about the Guardian raids, using the first three as an example. Nil Lumerus and Icy Legoros. All three of them do not have any vital mechanics that you need to know about, but are rather just your introductory level guardians that try to teach you the basics, which are just avoiding the attacks and also getting familiar with the activity. As for Urnil, there's really nothing to talk about here. For Lumerus, I could try to give you the tip to try and stay behind him, since basically all of his moves are frontal AoEs. And for Icy Legoros, just be advised that he is very mobile, so you want to be aware of him changing positions like super often, so don't waste your awakening if he's not stunned or if he's surely not gonna move. Let's talk a bit more about the activity as a whole. Guardian raids yield loot 2 times per day, much like Chaos Dungeons. However, you can actually decide whether you want to use one of your daily attempts before going into the raid, by checking or unchecking the little box right here. If it is checked, you will use one of your 2 attempts, even if you don't actually end up looting the boss or harvesting their soul, is what it's called, after killing them. So if you forgot to take out the checkmark on a lower level boss because, I don't know, you might be helping a friend, you should pick up the loot at the end anyway, because your attempt is already used and you will just miss out on the loot if you don't harvest the soul. If you're just with a friend, if it's you and him, you could just ask to restart the raid, since the attempt is only lost after successfully killing the boss. So that is an option. But just don't ever leave a raid after killing the boss and not harvesting the soul when you have the box still checked, because that's waste. Even though you will see me do the raids solo in this video, you usually want to do them in parties, especially starting on the 4th Guardian, which is not yet part of today's video. I'm obviously just way over geared, like I'm T3 gear on like these first 3. I'm just really running them to get some footage and show off some of the moves. With that being said, if you are up for the challenge, feel free to solo the first 3 if you want, since it is not required to have a party for them. Unless you play full support bar, then I would not really recommend you do that. Okay, let's jump into the actual activity. Much like during Monster Hunter, you will have to track down the boss and then kill him. In order to not waste too much time trying to find the boss, I recommend you equip some flares, since using them will tell you the current position of the boss, which is especially helpful later on during much bigger maps. Your second out of 4 items that you can bring should obviously be your HP potion, since you're about to take some damage that you want to recover. You're gonna use the big ones here, the percentage based, since regular potions won't work. As for your third item, you want some sort of grenades to stagger the boss. You could always just use your trusty friend, the whirlwind grenade, which you already may know about due to my Abyss Guardian, or Abyss Dungeon, sorry, videos. However, you could do some optimization by checking the boss's weakness before starting the raid and equipping the corresponding grenade, since they will deal about 10% more damage and sometimes come with cool side effects like the dark grenade that lowers their defense for some time. Talking about the stagger again, by the way, these bosses, these guardians, they won't have any stagger checks or visible bar indicating their stagger progress. It's rather hidden from you and could just happen at any time, like you see right here on screen. And it will happen eventually. During the first 3 bosses right here, it is mainly good for you to deal some free DPS while they are chillin', but later bosses do have mechanics surrounding these knockdowns. But again, I will explain that in more detail during the videos of those bosses. As for the fourth item, you could just use whatever you feel like really, since there's no need for anything specific on these 3 bosses. You could always just use a pheromone bomb to bring the bosses right back if they ever decide to leave the area and you're just too lazy to run after them. Especially maybe in those bigger maps where you really can't be bothered to move all the way to the other end of the world, basically. A Guardian does indicate their area move by being invincible when you attack them, so that's the time to then apply the pheromone. The one mechanic you can already do during the combat of these 3 beginner raids is the counterattack. Every single Guardian has a move that can be countered, that they always want to use as a priority move, so they will just spam it really in the beginning. Just pay close attention to their attacks. It is very easy to spot since the boss will light up in a blue color right as he goes for the attack that you can counter. Now you just have to position yourself in front of the boss and use a skill that reads counter yes. If you manage to use it in time, the Guardian will be stunned for a few seconds and will not use the move for like a minute. So as I said a few moments ago, they will use it as a priority until you successfully counter them, then they're gonna chill for some time. You do have 20 minutes to kill the boss, and that's also why I told you earlier to at least bring your flares, since spending too much time on actually tracking the boss down could just time you out and fail the raid. Again, on like bigger maps, the first one is pretty chill in that regard. Revival is also limited to 3 times per party, so if one of your teammates happens to die 3 times in like the first minute, they can come back each time, but if you die once more after, you will be demoted to a spectator. So always check the blue orbs in the top corner to see how many revives your party has left. If there's no more blue dots, but there's rather a player count, it just means you die, you dead. If you ever run out of consumables or didn't equip the correct items before the raid, come back to the base, stand in the circle right here, and it will allow you to refill your items or even change them to a whole new setup. If you ever have a leftover slot in your items, you could also bring a repair shop portal scroll in the 4th slot. It will bring you back to this area, which again can be pretty neat on very big maps where you can't be bothered to do the full run back. Now that's already it for the introduction of Guardian raids. I will explain everything else as you need it during the later bosses. So if you want to see my videos on those, remember to hit the subscribe button and leave a like on this video so I know that you will come back. Also consider visiting me over on Twitch, where I would be glad to help you out with any Guardian you might be struggling with. A link will be down below in the description. But for now, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye!